Are we ready to go?
We are.
Yeah.
Are we Emilia Perezing now?
Somehow Emilia Perez
Speaking
returned.
of other topics, there's still only 3.5 hours left on that Bionicles video.
We don't have enough time on the camera recording to talk about your goddamn 13-hour-long Bionicle lore video.
You watched a 13-hour-long.
He has 4 hours left.
How is there 13 hours to talk about? They are toys that
So-
have weapons. No, don't.
There
No,
is a-
no,
there is a-
no, I'm ramping up. You don't get to talk. They are toys that have weapons that also turn into skateboards. That's it.
Sometimes skis.
Sometimes skis. Sometimes
Because
surfboard.
there is an
Some
answer.
sort of-
Yeah, so there was a lot of books that went with them, as well as comic books and games, and so actually there's a lot of lore we
And
start
cut.
looking at.
And cut. That's where we cut. There we're just gonna cut.
We're back! And today we're doing something fucking awesome because Rosenberg is here.
First ever Rosenberg appearance in an Uncle Mickey video.
This is
Hell yeah.
absolutely insane. If you are ride or die Uncle Mickey fans, you know Rosenberg. You've seen him 100,000 times, but he's never been in a video. Rosenberg is an actor, director, writer, playwright.
I'm sure he paints.
I paint, I sculpt, I do what I can. I read tarot cards, I do the whole enchilada.
Oh yeah, he is a demon worshiper.
Yes, I am a demon worshiper, but for this segment, you can just call me Brown Kevin.
I'm not gonna lie, there's striking similarities.
So today we are going to be reviewing a new film. Here at Uncle Mickey, we only like to review movies when we feel like we really have something to add to the conversation. But sometimes we just like to jump on the dog pile because it's getting f***ing views. And that's what we're here doing today.
There's clear nectar. I've seen the nectar, dude. Crap channels like us with no subscribers, no views, get good views on their Emilia Perez video.
And we're filming this video after those videos have already gotten those views.
we're getting the droplets, dude.
Yes, you are, and the best part is you have a Mexican, so that instantly, like,
I didn't see a
solidifies your
single
credit.
Mexican in those videos.
No, not one of
Not
them.
a single one of them.
I didn't either, dude, and I searched for those videos.
Well, because I think most Hispanic people probably were just like, I'm not gonna watch that.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
for white
blame 'em.
people.
Well, it is a movie made by white people for white people to feel good about being white and not having to live in Mexico.
It's for white people to clap.
Yes.
I don't want to say it was made by white people because it was made by the French.
Oof. I would say it's like as white as you can go. If there's a spectrum of whiteness, French goes past 100%.
It's white, le white.
But today we are reviewing the new Netflix film, Emilia Perez. It is the Oscar nomination of the year. 13 nominations. And so we wanted to check it out because as connoisseurs of film ourselves, we wanted to see, is this movie any good?
What a progressive film.
Super topical,
Very
about
topical.
trans woman. So it's gotta be, it's gotta have something big to say about all of that.
What does it say?
How do we start? Yeah, I mean, if you can't sense that all of this has been dripping in irony yet, you should probably just turn the video off because you're fucking stupid. Rosenberg, what were your thoughts going in to Emilia Perez?
Thoughts going in, Rosenberg, is kind of a little thing we do that keys you into like why you might have liked or disliked a movie a little bit, because sometimes you go in, you just have
You're in a bad mood, maybe.
and it can affect either your enjoyment or not enjoyment of a movie.
It's kind of just your mindset before you hit play.
And like what your perspective of the movie going in also affects your viewing experience. So if you know nothing about a movie going in, that does affect your experience. If you know everything that you knew about Emilia Perez going in, that's going to affect your experience.
I can only speak for myself in that I feel like I came in after the wave had like crashed in and impacted everyone else. But the truth is, I did it for you guys, and I did it because I wanted to know, man. I wanted to know why so many people from many walks of life were up in arms about this movie. Y'all know it's a unique thing when something
everyone.
unanimously gathers a lot of people to have one opinion, especially if it's a hateful opinion. That's how you know, oh shit, this must be good.
That's a good point, actually. Yet there's not many movies that literally everyone dunk on. It's like you get Madam Web, maybe.
Morbius.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Usually it's a movie like that though. It's not usually nominated for 13 Oscars.
Right. It's a movie that they're telling us to love, but we all are just like, nah, man.
I will be praying to every god I can find
That it wins.
that it wins Best Picture.
That would be the funniest outcome because it is the villain of the Oscars. Everyone doesn't want it to happen.
I also think it's so funny. In my head, they already picked it.
And it's just too late and they're just like, Conan's really funny. Maybe people will like it still.
Can we rescind? Like, can we like turn it back?
The thing is, like, the Oscars are picked by 70-something-year-old white men.
Yeah.
And so they see Emilia Perez and they say, I don't know anything about this topic. It must be progressive.
Start clapping. Wow. The kids like this.
It's not even the Oscars. It got a standing ovation at Cannes. So it's not just that it fooled a bunch of old people at the Oscars. This movie also fooled a bunch of French losers at Cannes.
You repeated yourself.
Yeah, it's a movie that someone made if they read a Wikipedia article about Mexico and then turned that into a movie. That's literally what it's like.
You got a lot of faith in the research.
Have you ever heard of the Google? It has the AI overview. So I search Mexican cocktail and the Google says bad.
Le bad.
Le bad.
This is why you don't trust history written by the losers, because the French invaded Mexico and they lost, and now we have Cinco de Mayo because of it.
Name one time the French have fucking won anything.
That's 2 hours of my life I'm never getting back.
It was on my radar ever since it won Best Musical/Comedy in the Golden Globes. I'd never heard of it until that day. Between that time and it being nominated for Best Picture, like everyone was just kind of like, "Oh, that movie's actually
It's like one of
really
the worst
bad."
movies I've ever seen.
The more and more I heard about how embarrassing it was and how the music is bad and how it's like offensive to trans people and to Hispanic people, that is the core of the movie. Very much excited me. I thought Crash was a horrible experience to watch, but it's like a life-changing experience. I like suffering when I watch a movie sometimes. Part of liking movies is also hating movies for me.
Hating things about films is a healthy thing, even if sometimes that's the entire movie.
I also have often liked lots of things that people hate and hated things that people love. So it's like, it's not like I went into it being like, oh, I can't wait to find out why it's bad.
We all love Megalopolis.
Yeah, exactly. I loved Megalopolis.
Yeah.
I can recognize that it's terrible, but I can also enjoy every minute of it. It's a lot harder to find enjoyment in this one.
So I was told like yesterday.
Literally yesterday.
I was told yesterday that I was going to be in this video and I needed to watch it.
Kevin did drop out.
I was also told that it was filmed entirely in France.
So it's very vague, because I tried Googling it, and my working theory is that if there is one fucking shot that was actually filmed in Mexico by the main director, you can put a gun to my head and pull the fucking trigger, because I don't believe that there was.
You think it was all B-Unit stuff?
Here's my main theory, is that they purchased stock footage. Here's my second theory, is that, yeah, they had a B-Unit.
They just hired people that live in Mexico and were like, can you get a drone shot of Mexico City?
Well, because there's a part of like Mexico City where there's like the
gondola things?
Yeah, the gondola things. And going through, I was like, this looks like stock footage.
It did. It looked wrong.
Or they got a B-Unit director to go and shoot that. I would literally allow you to put a gun to my head and pull the trigger if...
Don't tempt Keegan, dude. He'll do it.
The actual director of the movie stepped foot in Mexico once during the filming of this movie, because I don't think so.
Dude, that would be a sick question for Conan to ask him on Oscar night, is have you been to Mexico?
Literally, like, you see the behind the scenes, it's like, oh, this big song and dance number that takes place on the streets of Mexico is literally soundstaged with green screen. To answer the question, I think that 99.999% of the film is all on a stage in France.
It's a French director. I've never seen a French movie that I've liked in my entire life.
This is true.
I think they're miserable. I think they're poorly done. People talk about French cinema like it's good, and I just haven't seen any evidence of that yet. I've heard a lot of negative things. I didn't hear any details. All I knew is there was a trans character.
Keegan's also been a wild card this year.
Oh, Keegan's been unhinged, dude. Like, I just cannot believe his stupid ass opinions all year.
This movie might be the most unified Uncle Mikki has been this entire year.
I have some wild takes that we'll get to later on.
Oh, of this movie?
Of this movie.
Like what?
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Keegan actually, so we have our token Hispanic. Keegan's actually our token musical theater lover.
I know, shocking, because he likes trash. You'd expect him to just like not care for musicals. He loves musicals.
I love pretty much every musical. There's been like a very few that I haven't liked.
I mean, he liked Cats.
Queued up a lot of comments saying like, oh, it's shocking. And they're all gonna say, no, it's not shocking. He's a queer. Yeah, I found out about the movie literally through a text conversation with Sam Slade and Kevin. It sounded like an awesome movie to watch while hammered. It's such a disingenuous Hollywood attempt to try to tackle a subject that the person making the movie about is completely out of their depth in making, but they're so overconfident in their ability to do so. And that hubris is often the engine for so many of the worst Oscar bait movies. You should look at them and be like, fuck you for making this movie.
I'm not going to clap for you.
I'm not going to clap for you. You don't earn it, because you're just trying to hit the check boxes that you think like and it worked. Good job. It worked. It worked this time. It worked in 2004 with Crash. It worked in 2018 with Green Book. This criticism is not a killer for movies.
It is a criticism, legitimate.
These Oscar bait movies where they're just like looking at what is it that the panel is going to be looking for. To, I think, most of the people that have seen it, it is embarrassing, cringy, ineffective,
Cringy
and
for
boring.
sure.
Somehow it made it through to the Oscars. I don't know how much fucking money Netflix spent on that.
Netflix probably did a really good
Yeah.
Oscar campaign for this movie. That's a lot of what it comes down to is all the schmoozing and shoulder rubbing
Oh, yeah.
and dick sucking you do.
It got the standing ovation at Cannes.
Stop saying Canes. He always says it wrong.
That's another thing that I'm going to say at the outset of this review. French people, I'm not sorry anymore. His name is now Denis Villeneuve, and I say this as someone with 25% French blood flowing through my brains.
Yeah, I can tell it's affecting you already.
There's French in you? You should get that removed, dude.
I just got to cut off the 25% that's French, dude. That's like one of my legs, probably.
Well, I was gonna say it's your vagina.
Oh my gosh.
You know what's really funny? I'm gonna give probably one of the only positives that I think I could give it is that it actually has something of a good idea in it. It's got decent enough bones. The acting is actually competent. Sofia
Gascon?
she did amazing. Zoe Saldana did amazing. Selena Gomez did all right.
Selena Gomez showed up.
Sometimes has musical bangers, like maybe 2 songs stick in your head and that's about it.
There are 2 or 3 songs in it, and then the rest of the music is not music.
It's not music at all.
To nail that one down, because I don't want to let that one just hang there. The musical songs, even when they are good, have a distinct lack of production value that I would expect from a movie that's like this acclaimed. You know, we've watched a bunch of musicals together.
I have forced you to.
But you start to notice what makes the difference between a good one and a bad one. I can see why this one is so beloved by people. What this one had was a couple of songs that have like the bones of a good song, but then like the production of a 48-hour short film. It almost feels like everything's performed live.
Because it's directed bad.
I think the actors do a decent enough job, but most of them aren't singers. Zoe Saldana is doing her goddamn best.
Yeah.
But she is not a great singer. She probably has the best song in the whole thing, but even that is held down by the fact that she's just not a great singer.
It's the direction. She can be trying her damnedest to make the scene work, but like all of the background extras, the song, the writing, what they're telling her to do, the way she's performing is distracting and weird and bad.
And also,
For a lot
like,
of it.
when the songs come in,
Lady, you know I only fixed the body.
when the songs come in, seem extremely random.
Yes.
But the movie will go like long sections where it's just a fucking movie, no songs at all, and then it'll just be like, oh, well, we're gonna have a song, and then the entire like third act, no music at all, and then it's just we have a last closing funeral march or whatever.
What's really funny is that sometimes some of the musical moments feel unfinished. They're like, we're singing for a moment, we have little moments here. Okay, and we're
There's one in particular. This is the first one I noticed it. When the first conversation between Zoe Saldana and Manitas.
right, the one in the truck.
Because there's this part where he's talking, or you know, I'm gonna say he, because at the point of the movie,
Yeah,
it's a
that's
male
fine.
character.
It is confusing in the movie because I feel like the writers didn't do enough research with how someone who's trans would present themselves because they kept referring to them as a man.
Doctor, you better trust my Mr. Mystery. If you had seen what he has shown to me.
Throughout it until they physically transition.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I've never seen that in actuality.
I'm going with this based on how the movie is treating the character.
That's fair. Yeah, let's not unpack that.
This is not.
Let's just leave it at that. The movie says he several times and then
This
says she.
video could be 10 hours long.
So Manitas is talking to Zoe Saldana for the first time, and then he's talking really low and threatening, and it's actually really well done. And then he starts speaking in Limerick.
Bien que si le digo de qué se trata y entonces acepta considerables.
So like there's kind of this beat to it,
And it sounds like it's building up to a song.
and then he just stops and just starts talking normal, and I'm like,
Where did the song go?
Y yo
Que me arriesgo.
a volverse rica.
It doesn't know if it wants to be an opera or a
It
musical.
would have been way more respectable if it literally every line was sung. It almost seemed like they were like dreading making it a musical. It almost seemed like they made it up on the day.
I have a theory that's come into my brain because this guy has not done any research. The director's not done any research on being trans.
You do any research on
Mexico, on cartels. I don't think he's ever seen a musical before, and he's just read the theory. And so he's like, well, you had to have some music in it.
They literally just took the script that they already had and they were like, they'll sing this part. Everything highlighted you sing.
I think it's more simple than that. So something that I know about the French, love to shock value goes a long way in French cinema. And so it's like, what is the most shocking thing you can think of? Oh, a Mexican cartel drug lord who's also trans. What's more shocking than that? I'm making a movie about it.
And they sing.
They sing. And I literally think it's as simple as they were like, that's the most shocking thing, is that it's so powerful that we're not just making a movie about a trans drug lord, it's also a musical.
Yeah, he probably has no experience with musicals whatsoever.
We're not gonna fact check it.
Well, he didn't fact check anything, so.
The dance choreography I liked for the entire movie. I thought it was really well done.
I will generally agree with that.
There's some fine dancing in it, but there's a lot of moments that was really annoying for me. And I just think it comes down to direction. Like there's random moments where I'm like, I think these two people are supposed to be doing the same thing and they're not. Oh, this person should be looking at the camera and they're not.
The camera work in the musical sections were so fucking obnoxious, especially because the rest of the movie was so boring, cinematography-wise. And then during the musical numbers, the director is like a 7-year-old man, and then the musical numbers felt like they were directed by like a 19-year-old TikTok-addicted Gen Zer. The camera's like going in and out, and I'm just like, stop! It's almost trying too hard to stand out.
The editing is bad too, but I think the editing is bad because the directing is bad. Like I think there's no clear vision. The director's supposed to have the movie in their head on set, and nobody knows what's going on.
Oh God, I was laughing so hard. There's this song that's like about getting the trans surgery.
Oh,
Hello, very nice to meet you. I'd like to know about sex change operation.
I see.
The classic one everyone's making fun of.
Yes.
Men to woman, or woman to men,
Man to woman.
from penis to vagina.
I was cracking up so hard at that. There are moments in that where I'm like, this is such a stupid song, but there's so much going on in the background that like there was thought put into this by people that are not as dumb as the person that wrote this
The tone
scene.
is so
What is the point of that? What is the point of that scene?
I've seen that scene a few times now.
Well, what is the point of that whole section of the fucking movie?
I don't know because
It's about penis or vagina. That's what
when
that
I
is.
first started watching it, I was like, okay, the movie is about this. Like,
Yes.
The thing that I hate about that penis and vagina song scene is that you're watching it and you're like, oh, is this supposed to be comedy?
Is it for you?
For me.
And then I'm like, this is shot like a horror movie. Like they're all staring and smiling at the camera with their like gauze and stuff. And I'm like, am I supposed to not want them to transition?
For a second, I was like,
Is this like dark?
is this going to be like anti-trans,
Yeah,
where it's like
exactly.
showing like the horrors of the surgery?
But then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, the lyrics are funny. So are you trying to be funny, or are you trying to be serious, or are you trying to be scary? Because all three of those things are happening, which means it's directed bad. And he's nominated for Best Director.
And then the next scene, the scene that takes place in Tel Aviv, one of the best scenes of 2024.
Lady.
This is the scene where you clap, dude.
Do you clap here?
because he learns what being trans is about.
Yeah. And Zoe Saldana looks at the camera.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, and everybody no one has ever been. I'll never let you down.
Even though she just got a bag on her head and threatened to be killed. Oh, well, now I'm fully in support,
I'll never let you down.
even though they're threatening my life. Where did you get this arc out of nowhere? Before that, her motivation to the audience is just she wants money, and she barely understands the whole trans thing. She doesn't really understand it. She wants
She
money.
doesn't care. She wants money. Yeah.
And she wants to live.
Because she's there thinking about getting a BBL.
Last pompis just for the bath. How much will it be? For you? $4,500.
And she just got a bag over her head, got her life threatened. And then the next scene, it's like, oh, she had this arc off screen where she's like, I'm doing this because I support this person. And it's like, where did this come from? I'm fine with that arc, but that arc didn't happen.
I'm going to lay out Zoe Saldana's perspective. She's a lawyer. She hates corruption. She's complaining the entire first song about how the guy that she's defending murdered his wife, but she has to make it look like a suicide, and she doesn't like that because she has morals. Then a drug cartel drug lord fucking calls her on the phone, says, I'm watching you in the bathroom. Do you want to be kidnapped by me? And she says yes.
Well, she's got to answer the call, dude, as a protagonist.
So she gets kidnapped by a drug lord, and she has a bag over her head, where she gets put on a truck in this like high-tech drug mobile. I don't know what to call it. But there's a super stupid line in that scene. Manitas is like, are you scared?
Tiene miedo.
This is after she's been kidnapped, put on a truck with a bag on her head. She doesn't know if she's going to be killed. And her, having gone through all of this, says, why should I be?
Debería.
She just got kidnapped by the cartel!
Someone got stabbed behind her in a few scenes earlier.
Why should I be? She has no clue what is happening.
She's Gamora. That's why she doesn't have any fear, because she's Gamora.
There's a lot of really dumb lines in that scene specifically, because that scene is written clearly by a white man who doesn't understand. They have Manitas being like, I want to become a woman.
Quiero ser una mujer.
I never hear that. I never hear that when like actual trans people talk about their
I
trans.
am this. Yeah. I have always known I'm this. So this is where this movie really pissed me off. It came so close to some good ideas. And it thought that it was nailing them. And this is what pissed me off about it, because there is such an interesting concept about someone with a really, really dark, violent past who transitions from being male to female, or whatever, transitions gender-wise, and now is living a new life. Can they completely escape their former life? The answer is no. And if you are doing this movie correctly, that would be the main theme of the movie.
Yes.
Is that you cannot completely ever erase your past. And you will always be you. Interior, you're always what you are on the inside, no matter how you're presenting on the outside. What this movie should have been is a movie where her past comes and gets her. We can get to the ending eventually, but the ending pissed me off so fucking much.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
The ending fundamentally did not even understand like the rest of the movie.
There's literally a plot point that they're like, oh, we're just gonna forget that this plot point happened.
That's every plot point.
Any closing thoughts on the music?
I liked the first song. I will say Zoe Saldana is not the best singer, but I like the song overall.
She has the best songs in the movie.
I really like the song where she's talking about like all the corrupt politicians giving their money.
We did not complete the talk on the scene where you're supposed to clap.
That scene has one of the worst songs that I've ever seen in a film.
Lady, you know, I only fixed the body.
It's one of those ones like we were referring to. They're like, they're gonna sing this scene.
Your master plot, please.
Manitas hires Zoe Saldana to find a secure plastic surgeon to do the transition because Manitas doesn't want anyone to know about the surgery.
They want to be.
This is where the movie almost has a good idea. Manitas doesn't just want to transition. They want to leave their life behind.
Yes, yes.
In narrative storytelling terms, that is not a possible thing.
So anyways, so Manitas, dog, why didn't you just tap the side of it? You knew.
It fell on the ground.
He took it, man. He took one for the team.
Luckily, it's just water, dude.
Anyways, she's not just looking for the best, because the best was probably Bangkok or whatever.
But she wants someone that will be completely discreet.
Yes, so that's why she chooses the doctor from Tel Aviv.
Keegan is also explaining it better than the movie does.
Yes, the movie doesn't really explain anything.
The movie should be more focused on that whole drama.
So what follows is one of the worst sung, scripted.
It's a horrible
Play
song.
the clip, like you've probably seen the clip. We're gonna play it again.
But I will never fix the soul.
What is that man doing? That poor Jewish man that the French made sing.
They made him sing in post, dude.
It has the vibe of forcing two people that don't want to do karaoke to do karaoke.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of having plastic surgery, he'd better change ID.
Doctor, I know you did a lot of studies.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
It's so bad.
It's like they're being forced to make it a musical.
Yeah,
the thing that really bothers me about that scene is it just comes across so dumb to me because this guy is supposedly a great doctor at helping people through their transition or whatever, and then now he's going.
Instead of having plastic surgery, he'd better change his mind.
My issue with it is he's a plastic surgeon who specializes in transition.
That's what I was literally saying.
That plot point is introduced because the person that wrote that scene has the loosest grasp on that is something that trans people would experience.
You better change your mind.
I have to have a scene where the surgeon says rethink your life or whatever, but without doing any thinking beyond that. Well, yeah, that's what all doctors say. I'm sure even the ones that are famous for doing transition surgery say that every time. New section. I want to talk about Emilia Perez's stupid fucking arc. Very funny clip from the behind the scenes of Zoe Saldana saying that the movie has a great sense of justice.
Justice.
A musical based in a crime world, but there was a sense of justice and validation.
Justice for all of the people that Manitas killed. They all got justice, didn't they?
They dug him up, dude.
That atones for your sins. If you're Hitler,
If you say where you buried all the Jews,
yeah,
you're good.
But that's the thing, she doesn't even feel bad about it. She just kind of feels sad that there are people that don't know.
No, she's a hero.
So one of the worst parts of this movie is that Emilia Perez has an arc. But Emilia Perez, her arc is fucking stupid.
Beyond any of the politics, any of the drama behind this movie, the movie is written so terribly, is so horribly constructed with how their characters interact with the plot and how they affect the plot.
I want to lay out what the plot of the movie, in my opinion, should be. Emilia Perez, formerly Manitas. Manitas is a cartel drug lord, violent man who has killed so many people, literally feeds them to dogs. One of the most evil things you can do. And we get exposed to where a mother's walking through this little like outdoor eating area that they're, where she's like, oh, my son was going to be a doctor or whatever. He was going to school.
Teacher.
He was going to be a teacher, and he got kidnapped by the cartel, and I don't know what happened to him. Manitas fed him to dogs. This is what happened to him. But Manitas, who is now Emilia Perez, is sitting there, and instead of feeling remorse for being responsible for that, Emilia Perez decides that she's going to start a nonprofit. And so this is where like what should happen and what actually happens split. Because what should happen is that Emilia Perez's guilt is building up, where Emilia Perez should feel all of the guilt for what she has done as Manitas, but is trying to fight that by saying, I'm not Manitas anymore, I am Emilia Perez. Manitas doesn't exist anymore, he died. And throughout the entire second and third half of the movie, that should be the core drama, is that Manitas is bubbling up beneath the surface, and there should be elements. I think the movie's trying to do this. This is what's so frustrating.
There are points where you're like, that beast is still in Emilia Perez.
The theme of the movie should have been, is no matter what you present on the outside, you're still always you. You know, like Manitas, Emilia Perez, they are the same soul at the end of the day. Even if Emilia Perez doesn't want to admit that. Like that is still all stuff she did. What should have happened is that eventually, in my opinion, something from her past comes back to haunt her.
Someone finds out what happened for real.
Someone finds out, someone catches her, someone realizes, oh, that is Manitas, like one of her rivals.
I thought the obvious thing was going to be that her family was going to figure it out.
They never do.
Like I thought that was like perfect, obvious drama. Whereas like, well, you're trying to bring them back into your life as a different person to them, and you're trying to keep that secret from them still. But it's like, will they ever find out? That's the tension. But they don't ever address
The ultimate moral of the story, in my opinion, again, should have been that you can change who you are, and you can express yourself the way you want to, but at the end of the day, your actions that you take are always going to be the actions that you took.
It's the same theme of like half the Westerns that exist.
Joey, there's no living with a killing. There's no going back from one.
So I just complained about how Emilia Perez's character arc is completely fucked. Zoe Saldana's character arc is so fucking confusing. I don't even have a doctor's fix for it.
Well, she doesn't really have an arc.
She starts off as hating corruption.
She doesn't like corruption, but she mostly doesn't like that she's looked down upon for being Afro-Mexican. She doesn't have money, even though everyone's stealing her work from her.
She wants money too.
And then she signs up with a cartel who's known for their integrity. She has signed a deal with the devil
For money.
She's now part of the bad team. Later on, she has an entire, it is a great, it's probably the best song in the entire movie, but she has an entire musical number about how all of the people in the room she's in is so corrupt and it's time for their reckoning. Bitch, you're one of the corrupt ones. You were bought by the cartel. Again, after her spending 45 fucking minutes being corrupt, she's now like, everyone in this room is corrupt except me.
She's also like, and they're gonna pay by paying for this nonprofit. Gotcha, boom.
You're gonna donate
you didn't fix
money.
anything. That's the other thing is Emilia Perez is like going on this arc to become a better person by just finding dead bodies. Like that's just such a tiny drop in the ocean of making up for what you've done.
Last thing I'll say, the actor that played Emilia Perez, I actually think did a very good job. On top of that, I think that she did a great job at portraying her pre-transition self.
I thought that the second time around, I was like, that's probably hard. That's a different kind of task that
I
most
had to
actors have to
Google
deal
to
with.
see if she had a voice actor playing her, because like I genuinely don't know how she did that with her voice. Switching between sounding that feminine and that matte. Like it's a pretty huge gap between the two voices.
I think Zoe Saldana and
Gaston.
both earned their Oscar nominations. Out of all the Oscar noms, I'm gonna give that a pass. Besides the script, the directing, everything, at least they did a good job with what they were given. I bet you that's a difficult task for specifically Gaston to portray themselves as male again.
Yeah.
That's a really specific incident. I can't attest to any of this. I've heard a lot of people complaining about the Spanish speaking in it.
Shut the fuck up. I want Rosenberg to
Well,
talk.
I'm opening it for Rosenberg.
Thank you, and I
want
appreciate
Rosenberg
that.
to open it.
Hey, I can open it myself like I'm opening this can. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm tired of white people talking.
Seriously.
You know what's also funny about this?
Sam Slay, shut the fuck up, hijo de su pinche puta madre. Cállate la pinche boca, güero. Hijo de su puta pinche verga madre. Ah, thank
that
you.
mean? Did you-
You'll never know
Chinga
what that
su
means.
madre, I know that one.
For that, consult the subtitles. But in any case, I love that you brought up the issue of her being Afro-Mexican. She's actually Dominican.
Oh, yeah.
And she's Dominican-born. I don't know why that detail mattered.
And then moved to Mexico.
Moved to Mexico. I guess that was to justify her non-Mexican accent.
They did that twice.
They did do that twice.
One of the worst lines of ADR I've ever heard in my entire life.
Jeez.
Nada que hacer aquí. Why can't we go to my sisters in the States?
Mexico has its unique accents. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, the way that my brown ears picked it up is like watching this movie. Imagine you're listening to someone speak American English, but then also someone that they're associated with speaking British English, and they both pass it off as American. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something distinctly wrong there.
Interesting.
When Zoe Saldana has a problem with all of the politicians, all of the people there at the dinner, it's worth mentioning, even if it's a slightly passing lyric, that she has issues with them being corrupt, with them being rich, and to some extent with them being white. Because it's like, oh, and you have a new wife too, and blonde. It ties into another funny issue that comes with Mexican culture, which is all the more reason why I fucking hate that it's a French director doing this, an old French man, because he only has a passing idea. Even to this day, there are issues with being Mexican and being brown. I know it's weird and it's fucked up, but like unironically, down in Mexico, if you look indigenous, if you look dark, and even worse, if you look black, you're gonna have a lot more problems than being a white Mexican. White skin is very desirable down there from a lot of old guard ideas, right? It translates to her, except we don't really see her struggle all that much. She just says that she struggles with it. And another additional problem with Manita's transitioning to Emilia Perez is that, I don't know about you, she becomes noticeably whiter and her hair becomes noticeably lighter.
Interesting.
As if that,
I didn't pick up on that either.
That's an interesting subtext. The excuse I will give is because they did say that they were going to be changing the skin.
To back up what Rosenberg's saying,
I
though,
agree
is
with
that there's a character thing in there where
She wants to be what she always wanted to be.
there is a character element in there that the movie doesn't explore.
I agree with the point you're trying to make. I just don't think the movie was smart enough. It was trying to make that point too.
No, definitely not.
It's like what Rosenberg's saying. The guy that made it has no idea what the fuck he's doing.
No fucking idea. This opinion is brought to you by me and my cartel saint, my goddess Santa Muerte, who is actually unironically heavily worshipped by the cartel. We have the cartel here now.
Uncle Mickey now a cartel organization.
That's badass. I love that.
We work with a cartel guy.
Racism is a buzzword that I hate using in regards to modern cinema. This movie actively feels racist towards Latinos because there's a shit ton of pride in where we come from, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie, would I as a Mexican American want to live in Mexico? It wouldn't be my first choice. But I still have a shit ton of pride in where me and my family came from. However, you listen to Zoe Saldana when she's in London, they all talk about...
They're not talking about it with pride.
No, Zoe Saldana says, when they ask, do you miss it? She goes, no, not really. I mean, I'll travel there, but no. And then Manitas says...
Do you know what it's like to come from a pigsty?
Now, sure, you could grow up in a shithole pigsty to become a cartel member, usually by force. The movie's not smart enough to even, like, properly go into that. And as a result, you have a movie that leaves a bad taste in my mouth as a Latino because it's like, are you calling our homeland a shithole? Are you saying that we want to get the hell out if possible?
Even if it is a shithole, it's our shithole.
It's our shithole, exactly.
Especially when the person that sticks is just a white Frenchman who didn't do any research.
Who did not do any research.
Yeah, so
exactly.
It's like this white Frenchman is just sitting in his French high castle eating croissant and guzzling cum and talking about what a shithole Mexico is.
All while making the cartel members dance. It's like, oh yeah, it's Mexicans, they play soccer, right? Make them play football.
He's going to play football.
They drink beer.
They do two things. They kill each other and they play football.
And they play shitty music.
And all in the desert with like truck lights.
With truck lights, yeah. And
I'm just like, wait, so you're
guns.
saying this guy is one of the most powerful and rich cartel drug
He
lords
lives in a hole.
But for some reason, the best party he can throw is in the middle of nowhere.
And he has unlimited money. And he has control over a chunk of the government.
Apparently, the director said in an interview that it was hard for him to find Mexican actors for this movie.
Yeah, because he was in France.
Yeah, because he was in France. It's like, bullshit, we're everywhere.
I've been to London. There are fucking Mexican restaurants in fucking London.
See, there you go.
I mean, it was one of the worst burritos I've ever had, but I live in California, where I'm drowning in Mexicans.
Let's not say drowning. Let's say you're swimming. Your head's above water.
I'm happily swimming.
Happily swimming.
And happily swimming in a sea of Mexicans, yes.
You gotta protect us, dude. You can't say stuff like that. It's live.
I'm white, so I'm an expert
You are
on
what?
Latino culture.
Keegan Hoffman is white.
Having grown up in SoCal, I have heard a wide variety of Latino accents from pretty much every part of Central and South America. I don't have like a super good ear for it. I can tell that there's different accents. I can't tell you which ones are which. That being said, Selena Gomez has such a white accent that I assume that she orders a quesadilla. But here's my defense.
I'm also defending, so I'm glad you said that.
It is in character for Selena
Well, no,
Gomez.
I think they added that in post.
It is confirmed it's added in post.
Why can't we go to my sister's in the States?
It's a completely different decibel.
To also be a Selena Gomez defender, I love Selena Gomez. The fact that that wasn't written into her character from the get-go, you know, like really hurts it.
It's the lack of research, dude.
It's so obvious that it's added in post because she sounds so inauthentic. She sounds like Selena Gomez speaking Spanish, which is fine if like that is what the character
Selena
is.
Gomez also doesn't speak Spanish in real life.
Does she not at all?
She learned it for this movie. So those lines are possibly the only Spanish she knows.
No shame on Selena, but I think the movie really was in post saving face because she sounded like a no sabo.
Lean into it like that's his trophy American wife.
The fact that she didn't know Spanish, I didn't realize that. I just thought she had a really white accent. She sounded worse than I do when I speak Spanish.
That's not true.
I don't know about that. I've never heard you speak Spanish.
I have not spoke Spanish in years. I took it in high school and
Hola, quiero un taco.
I was better than that.
Donde estas las burritos?
Per my teacher, which, you know, I don't know how honest she was being. I assume decently honest. She's like, you have one of the better accents in the class because it doesn't sound like painful to listen to.
She just said that because she got school shooter vibes from you. She just wanted to be nice, dude. I'm sorry. There's no way your completely white tongue speaks Spanish properly at all, even if you were taught for several years.
This is like a casting decision where I'm like, why would you cast...
Money.
I understand because she has a name.
Selena Gomez is big, but is it so big to justify such a bad decision?
No, it's not. Because like...
Well, even like just the moment you cast her, do the rewrites before you shoot.
Just write it in. She barely speaks Spanish. That's the character. She cannot communicate with any of the people that she's around. She barely knows any Spanish. You write it in.
You'd think as a Frenchman who doesn't speak Spanish either,
That's easy.
just write that in.
I actually gave him too much credit. Do you know how much Spanish the director speaks?
Probably none.
Probably none.
So apparently, there were so many translators on the set because the primary language spoken on set was French.
Yeah.
It wasn't English, which is what most of the American actors spoke. It wasn't Spanish, which is what the entire film is in. It was fucking French. A language that's not used in the fucking film. You might watch this video and think to yourself, oh, here goes Uncle Mikki again. We're just being woke on camera. But at the end of the day, like we all love movies that don't represent the thing that they're doing accurately. Like I love The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Is that movie super accurate? No. There's a Jewish man from the Bronx doing a Mexican brown face.
And it's honestly one of the best performances of all time.
It kind of is, and that's coming from a Mexican.
If you put a gun to my head and you said name the top 5, I would name Eli Wallach in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He's one of the best actors of all time.
He's so good.
It's also something we always say is that when the movie's good, you don't question the things we're questioning.
Yeah.
There's always flaws. Even in the best movies, there's flaws. But if you're having a good time, you just don't care and you don't think about it. But when you're having a terrible time, you focus on every single thing that's wrong and everything that's pissing you off.
The trans element is already a hot topic, and it is a very delicate topic for American audiences. For Mexicans, that shit is fucking taboo.
Does the movie handle it in any...
It handles it with the grace of a drunk man driving a pickup truck down a dirt road, man. Because like, and I'm not trans, so I can't speak it enough. It's bad. In the middle of the night, too. It's like, oh.
Where's the little headlights on it? I don't need them. I can...
Despite all of the leaps and bounds, for fuck's sake, Mexico has a female president now.
They beat us?
Yeah, they beat us somehow.
Beat our ass.
And even so, there's still a shit ton of machismo in our culture and ingrained into us. I'm first gen, so that's kind of cheating with me because a lot of the old Mexican stuff has like stuck to me like, you know, glue, right? With that, even effeminate things, and I'm like, I'm sorry if I'm going to say a demonetizing word, but even if something like liking musicals was made public to certain people in my family, they're like, what are you, gay? Are your nails painted something that's not natural? What the hell are you doing? So
Oh, you like theater?
Oh, you like theater? Yeah. Oh, wait, you like colors? Oh, you like art? Dude, what the hell is wrong with you? It's a movie that is portraying one of the most musical and colorful cultures on the planet, and it can't make a good musical? Are you fucking kidding me?
That's a good point.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. It's like fucking up salsa. How do you do that? The topic of transitioning is very delicate for Latinos in general because of how machista we are. You know what I mean? But it's handled so...
It's just
so
dropped
colorless.
off
It's just dropped
immediately.
off.
Like literally the movie forgets about that plot point.
Exactly.
The first thing I did after I saw it the first time was like, oh, I'm gonna watch some people that are literally trans react to this movie.
Yeah.
And something that was an interesting thing I didn't think about watching it was the movie has a smart, like, trans character plot point in it that isn't touched upon. Manitas is this drug lord macho person, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very like classic trans person going through gender dysphoria, is that you will just be the most masculine you can be.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, I feel like I have to
Overcompensate.
That's happening in this movie, but then it's like
They do nothing.
they
with
do
it.
nothing with that. You have to glean from yourself, where I think it's a complete accident that it's in the movie.
I'm going to say it's a complete accident.
Yeah.
The movie is too long, and the movie is underbaked. There's a lot of ideas that are touched on and they're never developed.
It's burn on the outside, but underdone in the inside.
There's a lot of plot points that actually are kind of interesting plot points.
Yeah.
None of them are ever developed. And the issue is we're introducing all these plot points, not developing it, and then we're moving on to the next one. And so we end up with this really long mess that doesn't feel complete.
And they're singing
Poorly.
and it is slowing the plot down. You're like, I already know what Zoe Saldana's feeling in this scene, and you don't have to sing it.
Musicals generally have a slower pace because what you do is you have a song that explores a character's emotions or
Yeah.
motivations in more depth.
We're gonna stop this scene that we're having right now, or we're gonna take this moment after the scene that we just had to have a character explain in music how they're feeling.
And the nice thing with musicals is you get a stronger emotion out of it because you're not just having them say what they feel, but you're also having a music that accompanies it.
Yeah.
And so depending on how that song is orchestrated, like, you know, what the pitch, you know, what the tone, the slow, somber one, it has kind of a more sad feeling. If it's more like upbeat and energetic, it can have a happier or angrier tone to the song.
It's like an excuse to give a character's inner monologue without being overly dumb.
In this one, it egregiously slows the plot down. I kind of already get the dilemma, and then she sings about the dilemma.
Yeah.
Should I stay or should I go?
You're slowing this down, and it's not a good song.
Why does Emilia deserve that funeral procession?
Because they don't know that she's horrible.
Martyrdom and sainthood, if you will, are a huge part of our culture too. We have our modern saints, a lot of folk saints. I mean, for hell's sake, she counts as a folk saint too, because it's a saint of the people, right? Like kind of like Robin Hood, you know what I mean? But the thing about that sainthood and that martyrdom is it's not really earned, because it's like, oh, thanks, you unearthed everybody that we lost.
That you killed.
are a hero that you killed.
Yeah.
It would be one thing if the ending had a really poignant, like, okay, her past did catch up to her, she dies, but the irony is that the people are still going to remember the good deeds that they did, and you kind of get a little bit of both. It's like kind of bittersweet, and it's also kind of like ironic that there's this parade being like Emilia's a hero.
Exactly.
But it's not. It's just, oh, Emilia's great.
She's redeemed.
One of the biggest what the fuck is this moments during this movie is when everyone's lining up to get Emilia Perez's services, right? And they all start singing. One, it narratively makes zero fucking sense. Two, it slows the pace down hella bad. It's disgustingly slow. And three, this entire movie is an artistic avant-garde circle jerk of artsy fartsiness, as you know, French cinema likes to be.
Think of the loads that the Academy has dropped. The fact that they nominated the first goddamn trans woman,
Trans Latin
and trans
American
movie
woman.
for Best
Oh my
Picture,
goodness.
dude.
She immediately dropped some tweets.
Their fatal flaw was that
They do no research.
and on top of that, they nominated a terrible movie that everyone hates.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the public was like, I will find
I
will find dirt.
This is one of the scenes I didn't like because Emilia is like so nonchalant. Yeah, no, we found him in a mass grave. He's dead. And I'm like,
She doesn't give a shit. She does not give a fuck.
she doesn't care that she's saying it to the wife.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no message.
Oh yeah, no.
Well, the movie thinks it has a message. I don't think the movie recognizes that the message that it has is completely incomprehensible, nonsensical, and fucking stupid.
It's called French.
Oui.
The problem that I have with the entire second and third act of the movie, these characters that are coming to Emilia for help with their loved ones should have realized that Emilia is the same person that caused these loved ones to go missing in the first place. There is never that moment.
At least Emilia should feel that.
Yes,
Yeah,
at least
agreed.
Emilia should feel that. Amelia is literally acting as if she's literally a different person, which is fine on a character level.
The audience should be tipped off.
The movie doesn't realize that like narratively you can't just do that. You can't just have a character completely wash away their sins through surgery. It's so frustrating that like the movie doesn't understand basic narrative logic.
The French need to come to America and they need to work in Hollywood before they're allowed to go back to their country and make a movie,
I like
because
that.
they obviously are incapable of doing anything themselves.
I love how harsh we are being on the French. I don't give a fuck if they hate us.
You have listen, I've been to France before. I adore France as a country. You've lost your right.
I don't care if every single person in France hates Uncle Mickey. It's completely worth it to me.
The only time French cinema could be good is if they've learned from an American.
Just to get my narrative bullshit out of the way. The ending of the movie should have had something from Emilia's past where she's recognized because of her behavior.
It doesn't even have to be that they recognize them as Manitas. It could just be like, you're a piece of shit.
Because you can't escape it. You can't escape fundamentally who you are, because Emilia Perez and Manitas are the same person, whether Emilia Perez likes that or not. The actions that she took as Manitas is still part of her soul as a person.
Yes.
You can't escape your actions.
You have to atone for what you've done.
You have to atone for your sins, because even if you become who you really are inside, that does not atone for your sins.
Narrative sins.
I don't get how the movie doesn't even start to talk about this, that their actions are evil.
No, it's okay because Emilia Perez found the dead bodies they put there. That sad moment at the end where Emilia's like confesses and is like, please forgive me, is so unearned. It's like that.
Yeah,
this
it
moment
is.
would be fine and would be good in a movie that you believed, and like the movie was like, this is a flawed character that is trying but cannot escape.
Then she earns her martyrdom.
If the wife became an alcoholic when in Switzerland and like is completely negligent of the kids and like abusive or something like that, and it's like Emilia's really coming in, stepping up, taking care, trying to take care of the Selena Gomez as well, like trying to be a better person, take care of the family.
All Selena Gomez does is have a new boyfriend.
On paper, as far as Selena Gomez knows, you're just someone she never met that's a family member. Like, you don't have any right to her kids.
Even the way the ending plays out could have been so much better. She goes and she sends her driver to go beat up the boyfriend.
Get out of town.
And yeah, it's like, oh, if you here's $100,000 or whatever to never show up in Mexico City again. They have that stupid ass scene where it's like they're both yelling at. I don't know why Selena Gomez is calling Zoe Saldana.
Because Selena Gomez had all of her accounts frozen.
Yeah.
Because the attorney was the one that gave her the accounts.
Okay,
Master of plot.
Master of plot.
Consumer of trash.
What should have happened, in my opinion, Emilia Perez, she should not have let the boyfriend live. It should have been like, I'm going full drug lord on your ass, and he's getting fed to the dogs.
It would be a cool moment if you as an audience were like, oh, you know what? Emilia Perez is taking steps, and I do feel like they are trying to be a
But
better
then they
person.
completely
and then they
go
flip.
back on it.
And you're like, oh no, no, you were doing so good.
At the first sight of conflict, they're like, I'm going full drug lord on your ass. I'm feeding your boyfriend to the fucking dogs. And ruins Selena Gomez's life. And that's when Selena Gomez has the realization, oh my God, you're Manitas.
Yeah, you're Manitas.
It's not a confession, it's you just did exactly what Manitas would have done here. That would have been fucking sweet.
That would have been awesome.
Or perhaps be presented with another chance to fall back on Manitas' habits of threatening to feed him to the dogs, about to kill him mercilessly, and then going, wait a minute, I've been here before.
Or go a different direction where Emilia is doing something like that and then realizes that that's not who she wants to be anymore. Yeah, that also could have worked. Instead, what happens in the end of the movie?
Selena Gomez and her boyfriend kidnap Emilia. Amelia, chop off her fingers and send them to Zoe Saldana and say, you give us 30 million?
Something like that, yeah.
And then Zoe Saldana is like, I'm gonna hire a bunch of dudes.
Because the NGO is a place where former cartel members can confess to dead bodies anonymously. And so she reaches out to a couple of the people she knows who are former, I'm guessing, this is, by the way, it's not explicitly said, I have no idea who these characters are. They've not been.
Yeah, they just like, she's just like, I'm hiring a private military force.
She literally just calls up some people and says, hey, I need a bunch of big guys. Come over here.
To shoot people. She hires some guns that decide to only go to the front of the building and not the back.
They, for some reason, don't go around.
Like, there's like 20 of them, and all 20 go to the front.
A shootout occurs. Amelia confesses.
In song.
Yes, in song that is very poorly done.
One of the first songs in like 40 minutes, too.
The third act literally forgets it's a musical.
Selena Gomez, her boyfriend, throw Amelia in the trunk of the car. They get in, they're driving away, and Selena Gomez has a complete change of heart because she loved her husband, I guess, even though
she was like, my pussy aches for you.
So anyway, so they're driving away, and Selena Gomez pulls a gun in the car and says, you need to stop, we need to let her out, that's my ex-husband.
And Gustavo is very understandably very confused.
He is very confused and very upset and does not want a gun pointed at his head.
I want to say, Gustavo, best character in the film, acts very rationally.
He's like the audience, dude. He's like, what is happening?
What is happening?
Why are these people singing?
And then they're driving next to a cliff, because I guess there's a cliff.
A lot of cliffs in Mexico.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Speak for all Mexico and all Mexicans, please.
Yeah.
They're cliffs.
It's one cliff. It's one cliff.
Mexico actually means great cliffs. Sequence is very poor CG, like the entire time. It's like they could not be bothered to film a real car driving.
This is actually one where I was a little surprised. I was surprised by the movie because the car crashes.
And I was cracking up.
There's 3 taillights, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna slowly have the 3 taillights go out to represent that there's 3 people who just died. It's called symbolism that happens in movies.
Because like the crash is clearly a death sentence. You're like, no one survived that.
And then it explodes.
It explodes. It's so funny when it explodes. I already was like convinced, like, well, yeah, they're dead. Okay, yeah, I get it. The movie's over. They're dead. And then it explodes just because the audience is stupid, I guess, and be like, well, maybe they're alive.
And then Zoe Saldana goes to Emilia Perez's kids, even though she's had maybe half an interaction the entire movie with them.
She has seen them off
Now
screen.
she's the sole guardian.
Yeah, I'm like, I am taking care of you. You're mine now.
Well, Zoe Saldana wanted kids.
If you're going to do that, again,
It's poorly handled.
basic screenwriting advice.
Have a scene.
Give them a scene together.
And now she becomes the man that she always wanted. Think about that. Because she wanted kids and she wanted a man in her life.
She's no longer Gamora. She's Gamora.
She transitions to being a man.
See, it came full circle.
Dude, if that happened at the end, that would be awesome.
Kind of would be, wouldn't it?
That would be so badass.
If she did that, she's like, I've learned so much from Amelia. Now I've become trans too.
I've learned.
Sam Slade, what were your final fucking thoughts on this goddamn piece of shit movie and Space Eggs?
So just across the board, terrible. What I wanted from this review is that I hope it comes across that this movie is bad, not just because of the overarching politics and story behind it and like whatever you might have as opinions for the actors involved. The movie's bad. It is written and directed and edited and shot and just conceived terribly.
And sung terribly, too.
And it's embarrassing that the Academy has nominated it for 13 Academy Awards when they've shoved out so many. Why is it nominated for Best Editing?
Furiosa exists.
Why is it nominated for Best Screenplay?
Furiosa exists.
It's like what we said at the very beginning. It's for white Academy members to clap at themselves. Very inclusive movie that the whole world has turned on, and that's what makes it so deliciously embarrassing. Space Eggs. Like I said before, I'm out of eggs. I'm out of eggs, dude. I gotta give it a 0. I would give it 12 if I had 12 eggs to give. Dry, nothing egg shells, dude. Nothing.
I hated it. The dance choreography, I liked all of it. Even like Selena Gomez's weird ass song.
Selena's Gomez.
He pluralized both names just to cover his bases, dude.
So I like the dance choreography. Both of Zoe Saldana's songs, I like them. They're not well sung.
She has more than 2 songs.
But the 2 big ones.
It's embarrassing. It's poorly done on every technical aspect. 0 out of 10.
Wow.
Wow, that's a 0-0 going right
It's
now.
out of 12, but anyway.
So just to explain, Rosenberg, the eggs are out of 12.
The eggs are out of 12. Shit.
Final thoughts on the movie and your space eggs.
Are you telling me how to critique my own culture?
Huevos.
Los huevos de espacio.
Sí. So, sobre la película de Zoe Saldana con Selena Gomez. If it wanted to get things done right, it should have been revisited in the writing room. The director should have been at least Mexican plus something else, or just a straight up Mexican director.
Or researched.
You know, yeah, well, better research, because I gotta say, in all honesty, in simple terms, it is very disrespectful of Mexican culture and the Mexican landscape that it takes place in. And it is extremely disrespectful to musicals, because for fuck's sake, like, no. So, only because Zoe Saldana, you know, sang her heart out in some parts, and there are a few good gold nuggets in there, I give it an 1 out of 10.
It's out of 12. But
That's 12.
In terms of the 12 eggs, I would take all 12 eggs and I would throw them at the director. Like, seriously.
So he gave it a 1 out of 10, but then took the 12 eggs he could have given it and threw it at the director. All right, that's a great score.
Que mames culo, wey.
Bien.
Basura.
Basura out of 10.
Mucho basura en la película. As someone that speaks as much Spanish as Selena Gomez, I gotta say, Selena could have done better.
Yeah, Selena's the one you should be attacking right now.
We've talked about movies like this before. We talked about Crash. That movie really sucked. It's different when it's like happening in front of you, where it's like actually going to be in the Oscars in a couple weeks, and who knows what it'll win.
yeah, dude.
Hopefully not much. It's frustrating how many of the basics it butchers. I think in what I've said in this review, I've tried to keep it to basic storytelling, like structure, and it's so frustrating to watch happen because it could have been good. And I this is what I want to say, even with how disrespectful it is to all of the things it's depicting, if it had nailed the basic structure of the story it was telling, at least I could sit here and say, well, like, it told an entertaining story.
And a unique story.
And it did it in an effective manner. But I can't even do that. Every 30 minutes, the movie changed plots, and it's just so all over the place. I'm sorry to the French. I know many of you that are lovely, but unfortunately for you, this movie has completely earned your place in the bottom totem pole of culture. And I have to give this movie a negative 12 out of 12. This movie owes me space eggs.
We are owed eggs again.
Once
again from Emilia Perez this time.
It is very rare that I give negative 12 out of 12s. It's only when I really hate a movie or I feel like it.
Well, this video was long.
Rosenberg, how are you feeling about your first Uncle Mikki appearance?
Feeling pretty damn good. I learned a lot, and I hope for a few more.
Hey, Rosenberg, I gotta say, this was a fucking blast.
No, I agree.
Yeah, Rosenberg's a good idea.
I loved his addition, dude.
You are now permanent Brown Kevin.
Fuck yeah.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Has anyone smelled like guacamole?
Yeah, that's a good question.
As a Mexican?
Shit, you know what? I'm surprised I haven't smelled like guacamole every time I've made it.
I feel like it's impossible to smell like guacamole. Alec has eaten so much guacamole in front of me. On camera, and just in the most egregious, disgusting way, where
it's like on my body.
Literally all over him, he still doesn't smell like guacamole.
He still smells like ass.
Of all the things that that song stated, you can't smell like guacamole. That's not possible.
No, I don't. You know what? Now you got me doubting myself.
Unless you're breathing right in someone's nose.
Fuck, what does guacamole smell like?
It smells amazing.
It smells like pussy, dude.
Yeah, it does.
Guacamole is better than pussy. I'm gonna double down on that.
Guacamole's better than pussy.
And dick. And dick. Just to clarify that, and dick. Guacamole is better than any sexual orifice.
Oh, I thought you meant like guacamole and dick tasted better than pussy.